Hey everyone, this is embarrassingly my fourth take because no matter how I start, I always end up talking for like 10 minutes. And it is my aim to keep this one down to a manageable amount of 2 or 3. This is the introduction to the optional assignment, the outline and planning form that you see in the current module. Here's how to do it. I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see what it looks like. While I'm working on getting that available, the key overall is, why isn't it? There it is. The key overall is to understand that the whole point of this is to help you plan out what to do with the rest of the paragraphs in this essay or in any other essay where you might choose to apply a similar outline and planning form. I'm going to talk in a second about how to apply it in this case, but first I'll show you generally how it's organized and how you would approach it. As you can see, going down the left side of the pages, there are it's organized into paragraphs, and there's space for 7 paragraphs. This is not a requirement. It may be that your essay has more than 7 paragraphs, in which case that's okay. You won't need to do more of an outline and planning form in order to earn credit for the assignment. Also, it may be the case that your essay ends up having fewer than 7 paragraphs, and that's okay too. If you just do 5 or 6 paragraphs using this outline and planning form, that will be sufficient to earn full credit for the assignment. There's no right number of paragraphs for this assignment, though something like 6 or 7 is probably appropriate given the assignment's complexity and all the various things that fit into it. So as you can see, it's organized by paragraphs, and every paragraph is the same except the first one, which is an introductory paragraph. The way to approach it is to start by filling in something here. Explain the paragraph's purpose in your own words. You can type this in if you like. More commonly, I have students print it out and handwrite it. Either way is good for me, so whatever's convenient for you is just fine. But in other words, you'll anticipate what you expect to try to accomplish in that paragraph. It's all hypothetical at this point, and it's almost a given that when you actually start putting your essay together, assembling all the pieces of it and figuring out how you want it to go once you get more writing done, that this will probably change, but that's okay too. The planning is an extremely effective way of getting your head around the overall project and then looking at it as a whole to imagine how you can tighten up the organization overall. Okay, so you start by explaining the paragraph's purpose in your own words. Once you've done that, once you've guessed what you'll use that paragraph for, then you can make a provisional thesis statement. This first one asks for a provisional thesis statement, the single idea that's going to govern or be expressed and explored in your overall essay. All the other paragraphs ask you to make a provisional topic sentence, the first sentence of that paragraph that specifies its central main idea. So in every case, you'll explain the paragraph's purpose in your own words and then supply either a provisional thesis statement for the first paragraph or a topic sentence for the other one. Then the next step is to use these 2 spaces over on the right where it's numbered 1 or 2. And again, that's not a limit. You could use 3 or 4 things here, but these are things you plan to do in the paragraph. Look, to keep it easy for the moment, I'll put doings. Here, you should think through what couple of bits of business you might like to accomplish, the way you'll support the topic sentence of that particular paragraph, or the way that you'll use a source, that sort of thing. I might, for example, in the paragraph where I plan to introduce my source, over here I might put something like summarize source and identify its main claims. And then I might also do something like compare the source's concrete example of civil disobedience with my definition. Okay, so those are a couple of the sorts of things that you might try to accomplish in each paragraph. For starters, everything that we've done so far this term is open game there. In other words, things like comparing and contrasting that we did on the last essay, also interpretive analysis, also defining terms in a rigorous academic way like we've been practicing here, and anything we used on descriptions in that first paragraph, any of that could be a tool that you might use for whatever reason in this paragraph or in any one of these paragraphs. Now, there's a second thing. If you want suggestions for what to do in those paragraphs, I have supplied a list called my doings list. And here's what that looks like. Here's a list of several things that authors of academic writing do in their academic papers. So you can, if you're trying to think ahead about what you'd like to accomplish in a paragraph and you're not sure how you're going to go about supporting the topic sentence, you can look through these ideas until you find one that suggests something you feel like you have an idea about, right? Now, it's not required that what you put in items 1 and 2 on the outline and planning form come from this list. All that's required is that if you use something either from this list or from somewhere else, you be more specific than simply saying comparing or introducing. Instead, be specific about what you're comparing with what and what you're introducing with what. If you're going to give an example, be more specific about what kind of example it is and which example you're going to use. Use this assignment as a tool for doing the hard thinking about your overall organization before you start much of the writing. Now, you've already done some of the writing because, in fact, many of you have already summarized the source that you're going to use. You've already written a definition of civil disobedience. You've already written an introductory paragraph and thesis statement. And that should help you know what to plug into each of the areas of the outline and planning form. So the idea here is that once you move on to the next step, you can use this form as a way of thinking through what it's going to be like. In an ideal version of this outline and planning form, you would be able, after you've accomplished it, to sit down and simply connect the dots between the ideas that you express on the form. So the writing doesn't require so much outright thinking and connecting and invention as it might if you were doing it without planning it in this way. That's the idea. Now, I would love it if any or all of you would tag in with me during my drop-in hours or make an appointment for some other time when I could take a look at this work while it's underway. If you have questions at the beginning, please do drop in and ask me those questions. But what I think will help the most is if you make a deep and honest effort to get this outline and planning form going and have something to show me and then meet with me and I can look at it together with you, and that will make it so that I can give you lots of good ideas about how to proceed. So let's aim for that. I'd love it if you can do that. Now, if it's impossible for you to meet during my drop-in hours, or if your schedule is such and your life is so busy that you can't possibly schedule any time for me for an appointment, that's okay too. Send it by email and I'll be more than happy to look at it that way. All right, I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you do this assignment. My experience is that folks who take this assignment seriously tend to score very well on their civil disobedience essay. Have a great day.